where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison.
His second win of 1987.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
All right, folks. Welcome to the Green Man Gaming 150 here at Homestead, presented by American Sheepdog Racing. These guys have just finished up practice here. Your fastest practice gentleman up there is going to be Mr. Dakota Camper with a 33.14. He was also your winner last week when we are at Charlotte. These guys are going to start their qualifying laps. On the left side of your screen, you can see the best laps throughout this session. You're going to see some qualifiers come across your screen here shortly. My name's Kai Shappert. Welcome to KNS Sim Productions, and we're happy to be hosting for the American Sheepdog Next Gen Series. Really happy to be here. Make sure these guys are all squared away with John Houston coming out on track right now. We have some new cameras just here for Homestead tonight. We'll be rocking a few of those. John Houston's going to be going out. A lot of these guys heading out onto the track. Alex Bahiri, Chris Barker, Larry Fairman, Greg Pillar, Steven Shue, Blake Witowski, Jim H. Jones, Chris Phillips are currently on track. Bill, Dakota, and James Jones have not taken to the track yet. But on his first lap around, John Houston here. Look forward to this race tonight. You're going to see during qualifying, going to be a little lighter outside throughout this race. The race will continue to get darker. They're almost starting about 30 minutes before sunset. So similar to Charlotte, John Houston's going to come around for that first timed lap, and he is going to put down a 33.25. see if we can find another person coming around. Alex Bahiri coming around here for his first lap. Larry Fairman setting a 33.67. Steven Shu 34.08. Alex Bahiri taking the top spot. He has another lap with a 33.16. Witowski splits Fairman and Houston. Barker finishing that first qualifying lap. These guys are all coming around. You don't see a lot of guys sticking to the high side as we saw on Monday and Wednesday over at our sister league, Roughneck Racing, which you caught here. All this action is brought to you by KNSM Productions. And Blake Witowski is going to come around for his second lap here. And we're going to see how he finishes this thing out. And Blake Witowski improves just a little bit. Passes Barker. Barker's probably going to be doing the same thing here. Nope. Goes a little slower on that second lap. Jim Jones right behind him in the 5th position. Dakota Camper is taken to the track, so your winner from last week. Probably going to use this high lane to build up the speed in this car. So we'll see how he goes around on this one. Coming into turn 3, prepping this lap really quick. He's going to wind it up. Taps the wall, so this lap will not count for him. You get any contact on the first lap, and that lap will not count for you. So this one is not going to count for Camper. Oh, well, I guess it didn't give him any contact. Looks like it did count for him, so it shoots him up into the 5th position. Maybe our settings were set a little graciously tonight for these guys. Dakota Camper coming around 3. One of our only members we've seen in this qualifying session that really is using that high side. Gets really right up next to that wall, uses that diamond out to drive off the corner, and we'll see where Dakota ends up here at the end of this lap. All right, doesn't look like there was any improvement there. And your only other member on a track right now is Bill Stringfellow. And these guys will just finish up qualifying. See what Bill rocks right here. Bill currently in the 4th position. See if he has another lap in his belt. And it does look like he is continuing to go. So Bill's going to have a second lap here. Trying to secure pole in this Green Man Gaming 150 here at Homestead-Miami. Beautiful state of Florida. If you guys look on a beautiful Google Maps, you'll notice it's probably the most southern thing in the state of Florida in terms of infrastructure-wise, and Bill's going to improve and be our last qualifier, so he's going to ring up into the top 3, starting right behind Alex Bahiri and John Houston. Alex Bahiri is going to be your pole sitter for tonight. So once qualifying gets all wrapped up here, in about 20 seconds, we will run the grid for all of you guys. And as you can see, a little change from last week on the stream. Do have some beautiful sports news on the bottom end for you. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. We are gonna take a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
Fly the blimp, too much hot air. Race announcer, same thing there. Wouldn't get a word in with you know who. Just get down on the track and do what you do. Slide down in my seat, pull the belts tight. Get up on the wheel and let the dust fly. Napa know how. Napa know how.
All right, folks, we decided to adjust the volume level on these cars. These guys do have a 5-minute warm-up here, but your pole sitter, who hasn't left pit road tonight, we'll get his name up on the board for y'all, is going to be Mr. Alex Bahiri and the number 20 Dunkin' Donuts car here for Homestead-Miami. So congratulations to Alex taking the pole. We're going to ring around the field a little bit here and let you guys watch some warm-up, see what these guys are testing on the car, see if there's anything that they want to get adjusted with this time and weather change here. And tonight's race is going to be 100 laps here at Homestead-Miami Speedway in the Green Man Gaming 150. The current temp on in the area is 80 degrees with 60% participation. Partly cloudy with 13-mile-an-hour winds. 13-mile-an-hour winds might upset the car, depending on where it is coming from. And then just some general information about Homestead. NASCAR timing and scoring uses a length of 1.502 miles, but the actual measurement of the track is 1.485 miles, so a little shorter than NASCAR. So yeah, they use the longer distance in the NASCAR series, but the actual track length is just a little shorter. So not much higher than sea level. We're only at 4 feet in altitude, so hitting that little bottom area, like I said, pretty close to the coastal line. And we get through this race and we get some beautiful cams for you. You guys find out, can almost see it, the horizon of the ocean in the background here at Homestead. These guys got about 2.5 minutes here left to warm up. Bill Stringfellow currently your fastest guy. That weather really changing the track conditions for these guys. I know the setup for practice and qualifying saw about 50 to 60% usage of the track, and it bumped all the way up to 80% for this race. So nothing too bad. Wanted to make sure you guys don't hear my little chat thing in the background. If you guys are new to the stream, please like and subscribe. The more followers we have, the greater entertainment we can do for you. Right now, sitting at about 44 as of today. We've gained about 1 per day. That's the goal, gain 1. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends on Facebook, share it with your family on the group chat and the family, and hopefully you're here supporting one of your friends or family. I know this crowd out here is starting to pack in here at Homestead. With these guys have about 1.5 minutes of warm-up. They'll take 1 pace lap, and then they will go to the green flag. I did not set my Bernie cam. So, you guys notice here, I'm going to show you guys something. So we got the flag stand. Poor Bernie didn't have a camera tonight. He was a little camera shy. You guys weren't here last week. Bernie's cousin decided to fill in. So Bert decided to wave the green flag for these guys, took pace car duties, did all of it. Also got a new camera for all of you at home. We've got some beautiful driver cameras here. So we'll be using this throughout the race. Maybe do a little bit of a driver discussion throughout the race for you guys. Get your favorite drivers up here in the booth. Got some beautiful helmets out there rocking with some awesome fire suits. So we'll see how that goes throughout the race. Got that beautiful 00 Fortnite scheme on that next-gen Chevrolet. Steven Shoes going to take this last lap. Probably won't have enough time to make another lap. Jim H. Jones, Casey Ellis, Greg Pillar, and Blake Witowski are your members that decided to use that lawful time of warm-up to reset, recharge, get their drinks, and have everything ready to go through the race. I'm a firm believer, if you are an iRacer, please invest in a tubed water bottle. That way it doesn't spill all over your computer while you're trying to race, and it's easy to grab. So, going to be a good time tonight, folks. We are going to have 100 laps here. These guys are sitting at about 50 to 55% fuel, so we'll see how that affects. And it looks like we got a little darker. Maybe the clouds moved out a little bit, so we'll check our race info one more time. Yep, we dropped some degrees, though. Participation up a little bit, and then the wind has calmed down just a hair, so it won't affect these guys too much. Your pole sitter, waiting on him. There he is. And we're going to take you through the grid real quick. First place, rolling off on the pole position tonight, Mr. Alex Bahiri. Second place, his teammate, John Houston. Bill Stringfellow in third, Blake Witowski in fourth, Chris Phillips fifth. Your winner from last week and current points leader is number 3, Dakota Camper. Christopher Barker rolling off 7th, Jim H. Jones 8th, Larry Fairman, the proud Canadian, rolling off 9th, Casey Ellis in that always beautiful Ghost 35 rolling off 10th, Greg Pillar 11th, James Joan 12th, and rounding out your field, Steven Shue in 13th and 14th, Mike Chivers. These guys are going to split up a little bit here. Sometimes your bottom lane will decide to use the bottom lane, maybe use the top lane, and then they just come together here on the backstretch. So, looking forward to this race. Had some beautiful racing yesterday. If you guys missed it, in the Sister League Roughneck Truck Racing, only had 2 cautions. Our first caution came at lap 96 of 100 in the Truck Series, and then they had a green-white checkered. I saw 1 caution on the first attempt, and then the second attempt, Mr. Christopher Barker, who's 46 in this field, went on to win the race after taking a bold strategy move of 2 tires. We're going to get these guys all squared away for the restart cam. That pace truck is going to dive hard into pit road. Alex Beery going to lead these guys to the green flag here, and these guys are off here at Homestead-Miami. Alex using that bottom lane, 3 wide behind him between John Houston, Blake Witowski, and Bill. Bill really trying to shoot that inside line, but heck of a start here from Dakota. Gets a run on the backstretch on the high side here. Gonna try and use that high lane. Alex Bahiri's been using it all week, all 3 series. Gonna use it here tonight. Been practicing that outside lane. Really, that outside lane is going to be fast in the beginning of this race, but the tires are going to begin to wear off as he uses the low line now. Dakota's still on that outside. Trying to get past Bill. He's made up 2 spots so far from the starting position of 6th. Oh, and we got 1 loose into the wall. Blake Witowski gets into the wall, lose it. Oh, well, front bumper's back. Doesn't throw the caution, though. He gets out of everybody's way, hits that wall hard, though. I bet that toe link is not feeling too great right now. Oh, and we got a little kerfuffle in the back of that. Larry gets into the side of Jim H. Jones, but looks like he's going to let Jim go on that one. And also, let's see who we got here. Gonna let James Jones go on by. Oh, we got Blake Witowski still loose. Oh, we got 1 down there. James Jones gets a little loose on corner exit. These guys really pushing these tires a little too hard at the beginning of this run. Got to back up your corners just a little bit, let those tires start to warm up over the first few laps. Blake Witowski is going to be your first taker to pit road. He's going to try and go get some repairs done on that. Might have got to pay a speeding penalty there. As you can see on that front end, though, that front toe link just out of whack a little bit. Back up front, though, Alex Bahiri still in the lead. John Houston and him have made a little bit of the gap to Dakota Camper, up about 1 second on him. John's going to use that bottom lane on Alex here. Tries to catch him in that Liquid Death number 8 car. Dakota Camper right behind him, building that gap to the guys right behind him. Bill falling off the pace just a little bit. Started 3rd, back 2 positions in the 5th position. Trying to make his way back around the 46 of Barker. Using that high lane, but Chris Phillips takes another spot away from here, and Bill's position is not great coming off of the corner. We got another side-by-side battle back here with Mike Chivers. Trying to catch up here with Casey Ellis. Casey feeling a little worry about the car. The beginning of this, gets into the wall a little bit. Comes off, shouldn't see a lot of damage on that car. Blake Witowski still coming off of pit road now. Gonna try to get back in this race. Took a little bit of damage repair. He's gonna get loose here though. Hopefully he can save it, not bring out the caution. That toe link looks destroyed though. Maybe needs to take all those optional repairs to get back in the game. He is gonna go a lap down here though. A 2nd lap down here to Alex Bahiri. Alex leading this field right now. John, though, sticking there right with him. Dakota making up some time. Right behind him, Chris Barker here in the 46. Right behind him, Chris Phillips up in 5th. Starting position, but lost a couple spots on the start of this race. And further back in the field, Larry Fairman battling side by side here with James Jones. James really going to make... Oh, apologies for that. Battling with Jim H. Jones. Got a father-son combo here. Trying to attack Larry here at once. Greg Pillar right behind them in that 90 Ford. Mike, was battling with Casey. Casey gets a little loose on corner exit and continues to fall, so that's going to leave Steven Shue and him with the battle for the 12th position. Back up front here. Does look like Barker has caught Dakota. Chris Barker here, your winner from last night. Looks like he's using that bottom lane. Gets a lot of drive off on that bottom lane on Dakota. We're going to go on board with him for one lap here, see how he's taken to this track. Gets on that low side, not shifting quite yet, just running that line. Hugs that line, uses the grip of the line to get up right next to Dakota. Dakota is going to have the run off the corner on that high side. So Chris is not going to have all the drive off in the world. Chris here dropping to the white line. Really lets it set and rotate in the corner. Doesn't look like he's too loose. Side by side Dakota, like I said, getting that run down the front stretch. And these guys are going to continue to battle for third place. Up here, John Houston, currently about 6/10. Alex beginning to build a lead here on John Houston. And that beautiful orange number 20 Dunkin' Donuts car. Well, Dunkin', they removed the donuts. If folks haven't heard yet, they have officially removed donuts from all logos. They are now just considered Dunkin'. Alex out there making a mark for himself, building another 10th gap on them. Further back in the field, though, we got a battle here between Larry and James Still. James Still and Blake Witowski lap car below him. James still trying to catch up here to Larry. Had a little bit of a closer battle. I'm assuming one of them probably got loose. Closer battle here. Mike and Casey still side by side, battling here for 11th position. Mike Chivers not letting Casey Ellis run away with it. Running that middle line, trying to keep it safe from hitting that wall. We'll see a lot of these guys battling closer. Back up here, Bill Stringfellow still trying to hold off Chris Phillips here. It does look like these guys are making up some ground in the draft on Christopher Barker. Chris was gaining on Dakota a few laps ago. Gonna do another one here with Chris and run some new cameras for you. Oh, Chris gets a little loose there on the bottom side, and Bill Stringfellow and Chris Phillips are going to capitalize on that. See if we can get you guys some action here. Not a great cam when these guys aren't all packed up together, but no problem there. Turn it down just a hair. There we go. Back up front, Alex Bahiri continues to build a lead, now out to a 1.2 second gap on John Houston. And I think since we're not close to pit road, let's head through your field. And the only way to do that is with this beautiful new camera that we made up for you guys. All right, and first spot, you got Alex Bahiri currently building the lead on John Houston, who's right behind him in that number 8 Chevrolet in second place. Dakota Camper in third with that beautiful red, white, and blue helmet. Bill Stringfellow in fourth place out of Theodore, Alabama. In the 5th position, Chris Phillips. 6th position, Christopher Barker out of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Larry Fairman currently running in the 7th position. He is up 2 spots, up 4 spots from the beginning of this, and running out of Tucson, Arizona. James Jones, according to his information profile, he's a husband, dad, stepdad, teacher, coach, and an iRacer. And I hope it's in that order. Love to see that. Taking care of the wife and the kids first. Out of North Waterboro, Maine, your winner of the beautiful Sparco gloves 2 weeks ago, Greg Pillar and the 90 machine. Jim H. Jones, currently running in the 10th position, down 2 spots from his starting position. Steven Shue in 11th. Mike Shivers currently in the 12th position. Casey Ellis running out of Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania. Currently running 13th and down 10 positions and a few laps down, Blake Witowski. Back up front, though, with your leader. Oh, and we had an issue up front. Does look like Chris Barker might have had some issues again. Loses another, well, must have just been a blink because he is back in 6th. Bill Stringfellow, though, right here, currently building the gap on Chris Phillips. Chris just using up those tires probably a little too much, more than he wanted to. Bill still deciding to use that top line. In front of him, though, Dakota Camper in the 3rd position. Trying to reel in John Houston. John, about 2.5 seconds, but Alex Bahiri, your leader, up a 1.5 seconds on the 2nd place car. Really working that outside lane. Probably a lot of grip in this track. On that high lane, if there's a lot of grip built up, it really runs smooth. You can usually get away with running multi-groove here, but if you learn that top side, not running the Larson line, just running a little bit off the wall, doesn't want to have to pressure himself too much. Builds another 10th. He's up 1.6 seconds. Chris Phillips here in the 5th position. Trying to reel back in Bill Stringfellow. Maybe just burned up the tires a little too much, though. Chris sitting good, though, in that top 5 position. James Jones, or Greg Pillar here. You're starting to see this field really start to spread out. Want to make sure that we don't miss any battles on track. Closest run right now, though, is Mr. Bill and Chris. Nothing too crazy behind them. Field really starting to spread out, and we need to switch this. I did this last night. The gap on the left side. Apologies, folks. I always forget to switch it after qualifying. And beautiful new colors on the top end of your graphic. Took me a while to learn some coding for that, but glad we got it all figured out for the American Sheepdog crew over here. You'll see the scroll go by each top, 5 positions and the seconds and laps behind. As you can see, Blake Witowski currently 2 laps down. Not too bad, though. Got a lot of racing left. If we get some cautions in this race, use that time to use the Lucky Dog. These guys are 21 laps of 100 in at the moment. Larry Fairman here in the 7th position, trying to build that gap even more to James Jones and catch Chris Barker at the same time. Chris probably burning up those tires a little bit when he slid earlier. These guys should be coming up on pit road, probably here within the next 10 to 15 laps. Probably see some different strategy. As we saw throughout the first 2 races, Monday and Wednesday, in the Roughneck Racing League, you saw a lot of members kind of splitting around on pit stops, using a lot of different tire strategies. Some guys short pitting, some guys staying out and doing the overcut. But what we learned is that undercut is really, really strong. The quicker you can get on that fresh set of tires towards the end of the fuel run, really helpful. These guys do only have 3 sets of tires, so maybe saving one of those sets of tires for the end. If you split it up into thirds, should be 33.66 and be able to finish. And then if you have a late race caution, you got that extra set of tires. Don't want to use them too early in this race. Do some more beautiful camera angles here for you guys, so you guys can see all your favorite drivers. James Jones in the 8th position, currently your biggest mover of the race, up 4 spots. Jim H. Jones, the other half of the Jones duo, down 2 spots in 10th position, still just kind of hanging out in that Hooters number 12 car. Let's see what else we got here. Got a beautiful new fan cam for you. If you guys were at a racetrack, this would be your pretty too high view, I would say. That's just me. Probably a little too high in the stands for my liking. Don't think they go that high. So, John Houston here in the 8 car, though. Lost the momentum he had on Alex Bahiri. Currently down 2.5 seconds. Alex just pulling more away. Almost halfway straight away down. Dakota Camper starting to reel in John, though. Broke the 2.6 second gap down to about 1.8, using that high side. Really letting that thing work around the track. And we are going to go a lap around with him and see if they are to the shifting proportions yet. You do see a few folks, they will shift here. Some folks will opt not to, just to save the tires, save that right rear. Does look a little loose in the middle of the corner. Nothing too bad though. Dakota really just working that steering wheel. All right, folks, back. Didn't want to be coughing all up in the mic. Took a quick little break. On board with Bill Stringfellow here. Gets into the wall on the outside. Really uncharacteristic for Bill. And he's starting to shift. You see that shift going into one. Maybe trying to work things out, see if it works a little better. Does look like it makes that corner exit a little loose. John Houston up here, though. Gained a little bit of time out on Alex, but getting into that wall is really not going to help him out on corner exit. Alex really just running his own race up front. We do have a battle brewing here. Looks like Larry Fairman is starting to catch James Jones. James Jones did just pass him, though. We will bring up, see here. See what kind of lap times they're running. Does look like Pillar behind Fairman is running quite a bit faster, almost 3/10 over the last 4 laps. He's going to get by real quick here. Fairman right behind him, Jones. Jones quite a bit off of these guys. James Jones up here. A little faster over the last couple laps. Pillar had his number for about the last 2 laps, but 3 laps before that, looks like Jones had his number. So these guys are just kind of counterbalancing. Right now, at the moment, though, pit stops have begun. Larry Fairman has come down pit road, and we'll see if it's a clean one here, as he's going to be the first taker. Does look like Larry is going to get it squared away on this pit stop, though. Doesn't get any speeding penalty or anything like that. As always, we want to thank you guys for joining us here at K&S Sim Productions. That was your Rev Sim Shop replay. Make sure you guys are catching all the action, whether it be pit stops or, you know, a bit of a caution here and there. We want to thank you guys most importantly for showing up every week. Want to thank our affiliates, Green Man Gaming, Moza, and Epic Water Filters for helping this all come together and making the broadcast happen. If you guys are looking for any of that information, it's in the description below. Helps us out, helps the league out. We don't take in really any of the money. We kind of just push it back towards the lead. Right here, James Jones still. We're gonna head up here. Big Pillar looking like he's having a pretty good run. 3-second lead on Jim H. Jones behind him. Alex Bahiri up here, though. Story of the race. Dominated most of this race. Makes it to a third of this race. So, does look like Larry did pit again. So maybe he did have a penalty? Don't want to see that. Larry is a fan favorite around here. So don't hate to see that if that was the case. Shows that he did pit twice. He's a few laps down right now. Alex Bahiri, though, back to it. He is going to come down pit road. He is going to split this thing into thirds at the moment. And he is going to start your first round of pit stops. Tries to use the famous move of the shortcut here. Wants to undercut the field, take these tires on fresher, take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, get back out on track, and pray that there is no caution. Caution comes out, and he is a lap down. He is going to have to take that lucky dog, and he is going to start at the back of the pack. So really want to see Alex. Steven Shue entering pit road here from the 11th position, falling down the order. Alex Bahiri falling back to 9th, but this will probably roll itself up, and he will make those positions back as Bill Stringfellow currently on pit road here. John Houston, your current leader of this race, probably going to stay out a little long here. Use the overcut. We've learned from the previous races throughout the week. Alex Bahiri coming out right behind them. John really using that overcut, and we've learned that that slight bit of difference in lap time, even 2 laps, as him and Dakota are going to come down here. Hopefully he gets it spun down. Dakota ends up spinning, saves it, doesn't get in the wall. Chris Phillips also having a hard time coming down pit road. Chris Barker coming in. These guys, man, close to speeding. Rev's going to have to wake up from his nap and maybe check some of these. Does look like we've got a slew of folks starting to come down pit road, though. James Jones, Greg Pillar, and Jim Jones head down pit lane. Dakota probably not going to have to worry about speeding after getting a little loose coming into pit road. Casey Ellis and Mike Chivers are going to follow these folks. Alex Bahiri is going to come around, get one of those laps back, and find himself on the lead lap, takes over the position. And as we talked about before, John Houston just coming off of pit road. Alex Bahiri really using that undercut on these guys is going to build up a huge lead. As you can see up on your left side, the gap just increases. He's up to 4 seconds, 5 seconds probably by the end of this thing. Stringfellow really falling off the pace here too. Dakota coming out in 5th after that issue on pit road. Story of the race though, 38 green flag laps, 37 green flag laps to this point, no cautions. Chris Phillips pitting again on, gotta be careful. Doesn't look like he might have got it revved down in time that time. Gonna do his pass-through penalty for speeding on pit road. But your effective leader of this race, Alex Bahiri, builds a huge gap over 5 seconds on that little 2-lap undercut on John Houston. Bill Stringfellow is going to be promoted into the 3rd, and Dakota Camper 4th. Shakes up the field quite a bit. Not too many battles throughout the field. Your closest one here is Chris Barker and Larry Fairman. These guys are 5th and 6th, both up 2 and 3 positions. Chris Phillips, looks like he got a time penalty for that one. So he's going to go more than a few laps down here. But like I said, it's a long race. Most of these guys are still on the lead lap. So don't be discouraged, Chris, if you're out there. A lot of racing left. We could see a caution at the end of this thing. Alex Bahiri, though, story of the race, just dominating this thing. John Houston really using those tires to try and catch, but really got to pace yourself at this point of the race. Don't want to catch Alex too fast. Alex might have the gap right now to be saving these tires on the high side. Really has found his spacing here. Monday night, Alex had some technical issues, still rounded out the top 3. John Houston goes on to win that race on Monday in the James Wagner Welding Cup Series over at Roughneck. Then on Wednesday, last night, John Houston leading the race. Alex Bahiri, the story of the race, led for about 70 laps. Last minute caution. Your winner, Chris Barker, coming across your screen right now, goes on to win with the move of the race on the 2-tire pit strategy. And that's been the tale of the tape. So, 1 win from John, 1 win from Chris. I think the favorite up here in the booth right now is probably going to be Alex. We're all hoping that he can finally clinch that win this week. Other thing is too, Dakota Camper currently sitting in 4th. Not too worried about his position. Blake Witowski getting up into the wall in front of him. Blake just having a hard time at this track tonight. But Dakota up 2 spots after a bad pit stop, though. Finds himself down into 4th after making his way all the way up to 2nd place. Dakota probably a little frustrated on that one, but none to worry. Still your points leader, effective in this race. Oh, I'm sorry, Josh. I cannot start the race, but you can find all the racing action saved on this channel post or pre-race all the way to the post-race following tonight's broadcast. Want to thank Green Man Gaming for sponsoring this race here at Homestead. Doing 150 miles here in the Next Gen Series. Want to thank them for coming on board, helping us out, sending us a few dollars to make the whole session happen. And also, you guys are looking to indulge in some little bit of a recent classic, nothing too old. Got a discounted version of Assassin's Creed Origins in the link below. And next week you guys will catch another game, something a little newer, came out a couple months ago, and you'll find the code for that next week. Can't announce anything yet, gotta wait till we get it, just to ensure we're not giving any false representation. So catch us next week here when we head to the great state of Texas. Similar to the race in Charlotte last week, similar configuration. Corners are a little bit different on both ends though. Man, Josh, you just missed it, man. You're only about 40, you showed up a few laps ago, so you're only about 40-ish laps, 1 pit stop behind. I think if you got into the session right now, we get about 40 cautions. You could probably catch up. I hope we see you next week when we head to Texas. We're not really concerned about a points race. The only thing that we see Rev is not sleeping, so if you're tuning in, we have found Race Control is awake today. But points race, really only got about 3 folks that are in the points battle, and your current points leader, Dakota Camper, is on his way to not only winning this championship, he also gets to select the car for next season. So we're going to take a break from Next Gen Racing next season. In 2025, you will see Next Gen and Xfinity back-to-back each week. So our odd weeks will be Next Gen, even weeks will be the Xfinity car. And most importantly, there will be 2 separate points. And to the fact, we will finally be following the real-life schedule. We do have some break weeks. About every 5th week, we will take a break. Make sure that we're not missing too much time with the family. Give you guys some fun runs and have a great time. But it does look like the gap has kind of become stagnant. John gets up to about 4 1/10 of a second to Alex. Alex, though, he's just locked in right now, man. Having a good time. Rocking that Duncan car. Coming up on Steven's shoe to put him a lap down. Steven probably gonna just let Alex go here. No one really coming up on the radar. Maybe Jim Jones. So Steven's shoe might try to block off this move just a hair. But Steven's usually a pretty comfortable guy and pretty nice guy. So I don't see too much of a battle. John Houston, though, really taking advantage of this. Hopes that Jim does hold up Alex, though. Or Steven holds up Alex. Because John will continue to... Oh, and right as I say that, broadcaster curse. Steven's shoe gets a little loose, and Alex makes it right past him. So Alex is going to put Steven's shoe a lap down. But... nothing too crazy happening throughout your field. Basically, kind of gapped out the field here. If you guys are looking for a home in iRacing, Thursday nights here at American Sheepdog Racing. We run no fast repairs, and it's a great time. These guys have been working their butts off all year to get used to this car, take the time to find their comfortability. Had some incidents for the first few weeks, but last 2 weeks have been a lot of green flag racing. 19 cars last week, little short on car count. We know all the kids are going back to school, so want to take that into effect. If you guys are looking for a home for racing though, come join us at American Sheepdog Racing. If you guys are looking for the link, please message in the YouTube chat. I'll send you one there, and we look forward to seeing you. Don't be discouraged if you're looking for a league but you don't want to affect a points race. These guys do not care. They're here to have a good time, have a fun time, race hard, meet some new friends, and just enjoy the racing. You can see Bill here currently in the 3rd position, back in his starting spot. Your top 3 right now, Alex Beery, John Houston, and Bill Stringfellow, starting to become under a blanket. Bill starting to reel in. John Houston got that lead, or got that gap down to about 1.6 seconds here. Bill really starting to feel that car come in. But don't worry, these guys are just here to have a good time. Hopefully you're here to have a good time. Hopefully Rev doesn't fall asleep on us. It's been some pretty clean racing the last 2 weeks, so it's not a bad thing if your race control falls asleep until the end of this thing. Does look like we will be approaching your second round of pit stops in this race. In about 12 laps, you'll probably see some guys start coming down pit road. Maybe see someone take the same idea that Alex did and come down a little earlier and try and get the undercut. It all really comes down to fuel. James Jones here. Currently catching up to Larry. We're probably going to have a battle here in just a few laps. James, that beautiful 50 Detroit Lions. Gets right up against the wall. He's going to get a monster run on Larry Fairman here. Shoots to the inside. These guys are going to be side by side heading into turn 1 here. Really close call. Larry doesn't give him too much. Dude knows that James is faster. Lets James go by. Use that bottom side. Gonna fall in behind James here on the straightaway. And that's another position for James Jones. Your biggest mover of the race, up 6 spots. Behind them, Jim H. Jones really trying to use that car to get away from Alex Bahiri here. Larry Fairman, your first taker to pit road. Really using that undercut here. Gonna try and use pit road. I think it's a little too early though. I don't know, man. A little early on the pit stop. Don't know if I would have pit that early. 43 laps is a long time to go. Maybe Larry just wasn't enjoying the laps on the tires. Hoping for a caution maybe at the end of this thing so he can go down and use the last set. Probably going to make up some good time though on the pit road. And a fresh set of tires. Alex, using that outside lane, has built a 5-second gap to John. And John Houston better watch out. Bill Stringfellow has cut this lead down to half a second, and he is coming. Bill finally figuring out this track. These guys are heading into 1. Bill really trying to use that car. I'm gonna hop on board with him and see how he uses that 4th gear to try and catch John Houston. Almost not even shift until halfway down the backstretch. Lets that car float up a little bit. Doesn't get quite up to the wall. Does look like John might be getting on the gas pedal a little faster. Let's see what John's doing. John lets it float as well. John running in 5th though, not shifting yet. Might be that time to switch over and start doing that. Alex Bahiri though, your leader for this entire green flag run, minus the pit stops, okay? Minus the pit stops. All competitive laps without pit stops. Alex Bahiri has dominated this race from the start. He has built a 6.5 second lead, and he's going to enjoy it even more because we're about to see a huge battle between John Houston and Bill Stringfellow for this second spot. And this is just going to create a bigger gap for Alex Bahiri. Side by side, going down the backstretch here. Bill holding in right behind John here. John going to steal that outside lane, the preferred lane from Bill. Bill really using that outside lane. John getting right up against it, using the Larson line. Scrapes the wall just a hair. Going to get the run off the corner though. Bill not really going to be able to get that exit coming off. These guys continue to battle. Alex still building a gap, almost to 7 seconds on these guys. See that beautiful Fortnite car behind them. I don't think Bill's going to be able to get around John on the inside unless John makes a mistake. So if I'm John, I'm holding that outside line. Be patient. Let the car come to you. Don't try to overdo it just because he's there. Have a good time. Enjoy the battle. As you see, Bill finally uses that outside lane. Might get a run here. Finally decides to stick. Doesn't look like he's getting tight. Little loose on the corner exit. Bill's going to get a run here. But these guys are going to be, again, side by side going into the corner. I don't know if Bill's going to be able to do this. Bill might be able to slot in right in front of him. I think the crossover is coming. But no cigar, as Bill has finally claimed that second position from Alex. And now Bill's goal is to start hunting Alex down. And Alex built a huge lead while these guys were battling. He's up 7 seconds right now to your second place car of Bill Stringfellow. These guys are about to hit pit road. First place right now, Alex Bahiri in that 20. Bill Stringfellow in second in that 83 track racer car. John Houston. Bill just taps the wall. John Houston in third. Dakota Camper fourth. Christopher Barker in fifth. Up 6 positions. James Jones battling with the lap car of Blake Witowski. Greg Pillar currently into the 7th position. Jim H. Jones in the 8th. Steven Shue coming down pit road. Already a couple laps down. Mike Shivers in 11th, up 3 spots from the beginning of this race. And we don't do this very often, but let's take a lap with Mr. Mike Shivers. Maybe shifting a little too late. Shifting down a little late in the corner. Probably not letting that car run too much. These cars are a little slidey in the corner. Oop. Sounds like there is a little bit of shift lag there on Mike. Mike, though, just rocking that 5 car right now. Enjoying his race. Not in anybody's way. Up 4 spots, having a good time. No takers on pit road quite yet, though. Get you... There we go. See if we got any... Oh! And Mike gets a little loose here. Mike does save it, so that's always good to see. Larry Fairman going to use this time to try and catch him. That beautiful Canadian Tire logo on the front of Larry's car here. Larry hit a few laps ago. Going to make it right past Mike on that run. And that's another spot for Larry. Good job, Larry. That was a good one, buddy. Alex Bahiri, your leader. Back through the field, though. Larry Fairman in 10th. Mike Shivers into 11th. Chris Phillips currently running in 12th position. Steven Shue in the 13th position. And rounding out your field right now, Blake Witowski, who had some issues at the beginning of the race, gets into the outside wall, but does an amazing job of keeping it out of traffic. Good job to you. That is a really hard thing to do, especially, and your leader is on pit road. Alex Bahiri, again, your first lead lap car on to pit road. He's gonna go down pit road and take 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Bill Stringfellow is gonna follow him in. John Houston gonna stay out the extra time, let his teammate take the tire advantage. Dakota Camper gonna assume 2nd place. during these pit stops, but probably find himself back into the 4th position. Chris Barker here right behind them, going around Casey Ellis on the outside. James Jones here. These guys should be pitting here shortly. John goes around again, Dakota Camper. Chris Barker here stays in the high line, decides to stay out a little bit longer. Got Greg Pillar here going around the outside lap car of Mike Chivers. Mike, we were just on board with him. And Alex Bahiri only falls to 7th during this pit cycle. Right behind him, Bill Stringfellow in 8th, almost a corner behind Alex. Alex really starting to build this gap again on these fresh tires. We're gonna have 31 laps to go here in the Green Man Gaming 150. And most importantly, we want to send a huge shout out to our replay gang and our race control gang. Go check them out, Rev Sim Shop. Get your good old button boxes, wraps, some coaching coming in the near future. Rev, if you're out there. You guys have any questions for Rev? He is in the chat. So if you guys have any questions for him, he is watching the race. Might be a little slow, but yeah, your next gentleman down pit road is John Houston. Comes in a few laps later, then Alex Bahiri. Dakota decides to stay out a few more laps, get that lap led, get a point for that. James Jones gonna follow John Houston, Christopher Barker as well. You guys really need to be careful on penalties. Greg Pillar in right behind them. I do think we're gonna see Dakota Camper come in this time as he hits the middle lane. Probably gonna let off here, drop to the bottom lane. Nope. Dakota decides to stay out. I don't know what Dakota's plan is here. Maybe run it to the end of this thing and hope for a caution. Alex Bahiri, though, currently in 3rd. So Jim H. Jones and Dakota are your 2 members that have not pit yet. Jim H. Jones currently in 2nd. Dakota up to 1st. Bill getting his lap back the old-fashioned way. He is on the lead lap now. Jim H. Jones gonna go down pit road. Dakota Camper here deciding to stay out again. Really hoping that this, I mean, at this point, Bill and Alex are the only ones that have gotten their laps back. So this isn't a terrible decision from Dakota. He goes down pit road, restarts 3rd on a fresh set of tires. Sure, the other 2 can, but this gains a position for Dakota if the caution comes out. He's gonna follow Chris Phillips, a lap car here, really maintaining that gap. Alex Bahiri's 25 seconds behind him. Dakota is gonna hit that bottom lane. Makes me assume that we're gonna see a pit stop from him this lap as he hits the brakes, and he's gonna start to roll down pit lane. Chris Phillips getting a little loose there. No worries. Casey Ellis taking some tire service right now on pit lane. He's going to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires on pit lane. Dakota Camper, and you're going to see Alex Bahiri heading in to the corner. Reset that camera for you guys. Maybe see Dakota on pit road as he passes. And there you go, your new, and again, with a huge lead, Alex Bahiri. And this lead has grown, folks. He currently has a near 8-second lead on Bill. And unless a caution comes out, I don't think that's enough time. Bill is fast. Bill is a very fast driver. I don't think he has enough tire, though, to catch Alex, who can use this time to really just lax. He doesn't have to run hard. Even if he cuts down the lead, Bill's tire's probably going to be spent there, but this is still a really good run for Bill. Bill having a few issues last week, but finding himself into the top 3. John Houston not making the right decision by all means, decides to stay out. Like I said, that undercut really works, and he loses the position to Bill Stringfellow. 4th place, though, after the pit stops. Dakota making it work, stays out in 4th. Larry Fairman currently in 5th, getting all sorts of loose, man. Hanging out and driving that drift car. He's on older tires, though, here, folks, but he is up to 5th. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Larry having to pit again, but we did see Dakota go about 36 laps on it. I know Larry had about 43 laps. So if he can start saving some fuel on that bottom lane, lifting early, he's got a 4-second lead to 6th, 7-second lead. Worst comes to worst, he falls to 8th on that 15-second lead. If he can save the fuel here, he might see himself a top 10 finish. Biggest mover in the race, James Jones, currently up 6 spots into the 6th position. Chris Barker right where he started in the 7th position. Greg Pillar up 3 positions, currently rocking that forward in the 8th position. Stephen Shue in the 9th, up 4 positions. Jim H. Jones in 10th, down 2. Casey Ellis in 11th, down 1. Mike Shivers started in the back, finds himself up 2 positions in the 12th spot. Chris Phillips currently in the 13th position. One of your members with issues at the beginning of this race finds himself down 8 spots. And Blake Witowski a few laps down, still rocking that 31 car though. Glad to see him still out on track in that Mercury Tracker Bass Pro Shops car. Back up front though, Alex Bahiri. Like I said, maybe taking it a little easy. Bill has cut down the lead to about 7/10. He's cut it 7/10. Still don't think it's enough time. We got 22 laps to go here and the Green Man Gaming 150 here at Homestead-Miami. These guys will be at Texas next week. So if you guys are from Texas, you guys are huge Texas Raceway fans, tune in next week. We'll start the broadcast at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys are looking to race, find us on Instagram. If you guys need an Instagram, Discord, Larry Fairman is going to take to that pit road though. So I think his strategy a little bit out the window. Bill here in 2nd, cutting down the lead to 7 seconds, almost even. Back up front, you guys are looking for it. You guys need a link. Let us know in the chat. If you are in the chat and you are enjoying the race, leave a thumbs up. I know it's not too exciting. Little bit of a gap between everybody, but I promise you, Texas is a ringer, everybody. Texas is a fun race. A lot of tight racing in Texas. I'm not gonna toot my own horn or anything, but I did win this last year at Texas, so I won't be in the field though. I am currently your broadcaster for Thursday nights. And Larry Fairman's gonna head out back on the track. Still in the top 10 though. Gonna stay low for your leader so Alex doesn't have any trouble getting by him. John Houston currently in the 3rd position. Dakota Camper in the 4th position. James Jones in 5th. Christopher Barker behind him in 6th. Greg Pillar here. And I want to go on board here with Bill for another lap. Actually, you know what? Bill, you already got a lap, okay? So what we're gonna do is, the gentleman in front of him, there he is, Mr. Greg Pillar, we're gonna go on board with him for 1 lap. Alrighty, folks, we're back here. Got the little gyro cam going. Got to give him one more shout out here so he knows we were watching and he was on board. That beautiful orange, white, and blue. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm a huge Boise State fan, so don't judge me. But yeah, go Big Blue. Great state of Idaho. Alex Bahiri out here. And I'm trying to see, does look like he is reeling in Chris Barker. And to show you how crazy this is, Chris Barker is your winner from last night in the Roughneck Truck Series racing. He is currently running 6th, and Alex is just mowing these guys down right now. Has found the line of choice for him. We're gonna have 16 laps to go here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We continue to build on the broadcast for you folks at home. We got the ticker in the bottom with some news. We're going to work on some sports scores starting next week. Work on a few more things. Yeah, and maybe you see a few future broadcasters. If you guys don't know, last night was in the booth with Tim Richardson over at Roughneck. Great dude, awesome admin over there. Glad he got to join me in the booth for a little bit. Gonna work on the mic mixture just a hair, but thanks Tim for not leaving me lonely last night, man. It was a long one. So a lot of good green flag racing this week. I'm going to say this is probably the cleanest racing I've seen across both leagues, week-wise, in a long time. Not that there's a lot of cautions, it's just there's been hardly any cautions this week. Like, nothing crazy either. No, it's a little bit of a smaller field, but even the solo spins, not seeing a lot of those. These guys really just locking these cars down. John just running the wall now, but look who's caught him. Dakota Camper here, right behind him in that 4 spot, finally catches up to John Houston. He's going to try and round these guys in. At least get up here. Take 3rd place with John. John running the outside. As you guys can see, really starting to get dark here at the racetrack. Lights are popping on. Dakota really running that bottom lane. Going to be going down the front stretch here with Dakota Camper as he reels in John Houston on the front stretch. Rocking that inside lane. Doesn't want the dirty air following John in. We learned earlier that Bill could not get around John until he really followed him in. But we got to remember, Dakota stayed out almost 6 laps longer than John. So he's really going to have the tire advantage here. John getting up on that wall, bounces off the wall. Doesn't look like it affects him too much coming off of the corner. We do know Dakota is a lovely shifter here as he shifts right when he gets to the bottom. Doesn't lose too many revs in the car. Builds those revs up. He goes in right behind him. This is going to be a great battle. Casey Ellis right in front of these guys. One of them is probably going to use them as a pick. Casey may just stay in the middle and let these guys go 3 wide. Battle around it. Oh, and John Houston's going to get up into the wall. And Dakota Camper is going to take that spot away. Dakota Camper into your top 3. Race winner from last week. Points winner. He's really loving to see this. Doesn't really have any competition from Bill and Alex Bahiri in front of him in the point standings. So he's going to go on and enjoy running in 3rd right now. John Houston going to do everything he can to try and catch back up to Dakota, but I think those about 6 laps fresher tires grab Dakota out as Alex Bahiri is your leader of this race, and we are currently 10 laps to go. He has lapped everybody up to 6th position. And right now, James Jones, his next culprit, isn't too far ahead of him. Alex just coming out of the corner here, so James is running. But I will say, Bill lost a little bit of time, tried to use up those tires to catch back up to Alex. Alex really just here rocking this number 20 Duncan car. Really doesn't have to worry about anything unless the caution comes out. Larry lets him go by. That's the good old Canadian Larry that we know and love. Doesn't give Alex too much of a hustle for his position. Larry may try to get this spot back just to get one of those laps back. He is on fresher tires here. And yeah, Alex is just going to let him go. Not worry too much about Larry. Just try to maintain that gap. Hasn't pulled away from Chris, who just put a lap down. So you really see Alex really just easing that outside lane. Larry gets loose right in front of your leader, but he saves it. I think he's going to try and back up here. Hits the apron. Really don't want to be that guy that ruins a race for the leader. He'll remember that in the future. We do know Larry's not that kind of driver, though. So I think Larry is going to try and build it all back up together and start to pull away here from Alex Bahiri. Bill Stringfellow currently is sitting in second position, down 7.5 seconds. Lost some time here to Alex, even with a couple mess ups in front of Alex. Dakota Camper in third. John Houston right behind him as he had just let Dakota go after scraping the wall a bit. He is in fourth. Fifth position, James Jones. Chris Barker rocking in the sixth position. Greg Pillar up 4 spots in the seventh, and that beautiful Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Jim H. Jones up to 8th place. Larry Fairman in 9th. Casey Ellis currently running in 10th position. Chris Phillips right behind him in the 11th position, down 6 spots from the beginning of this race. Mike Chivers here coming down the front stretch here at Homestead, currently running in the 12th position. Steven Shue in the 13th spot, chilling where he started, man. Having a good time out there in Fortnite, doing it for the kids. Blake Wachowski out here running in last place, down 10 spots. Nothing bad though, stuck through it, decided to stay out on track, and he continues to be rolling away. Alex Bahiri though, 5 laps to go here in the Green Man Gaming 150 here at Homestead-Miami. Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate every single one of you for supporting KNS Sim Productions, supporting American Sheepdog Racing, and we will be back next Thursday here, same time at Texas. So look forward to doing that. And then word on the street is KNS Sim Productions is doing an awesome giveaway for a logo contest. Currently looking for a logo. Submissions must be done by the 31st of August, must be submitted through Discord. So if you guys are interested, join our Discord, do that. Giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. And man, are there some awesome submissions right now. It's going to be a close one. I'm not even going to vote. We're going to put my wife in front of all of them, and we're going to let her decide. Alex here, 3 laps to go. Story of the race, if you're just tuning in, Alex Bahiri has dominated most of this race. Almost led probably about 95% minus caution laps. Led a lot of laps here. He's going to have 2 to go as he crosses the start-finish line. And that beautiful Duncan machine, that Chevy coming around. 2 laps to go. Bill Stringfellow tried to do everything he can. Did find himself all the way back up into the 2nd position. Right behind him, Dakota Camper. Dakota almost starting to reel in Bill, but probably not a lot of time left there. John Houston in the 4th position, and James Jones rounds out your top 5. Alex Bahiri, though, coming around. He's going to take the white flag here in the Green Man Gaming 150. One more lap here for Alex Bahiri. No cautions on the last lap. All he has to do, be safe, take it smooth, and make sure you stick around for all the action at the end of this race. We're going to have interviews with your top 3 momentarily after the race, and we look forward to seeing you guys here for that and after the race. Coming through 3 and 4 here, though, Alex Bahiri having a great race. And your winner tonight of the Green Man Gaming 150, Alex Bahiri in that beautiful 20. Coming across second, Bill Stringfellow, and right behind him is Dakota Camper. John Houston rounding in the 4th, and James Jones coming in to that final corner. Hits the high side in that beautiful Detroit Lions Chevrolet. It's going to round out your top 5, and we will be back shortly with all of the beautiful interviews from your top 3. Well, maybe, folks, if we could track down Bill Stringfellow and Dakota Camper, we might be able to get them in here. I don't see him yet. So maybe we can get that all squared away. See if we get a better... looks like Alex Bahiri did do his burnouts. I am not seeing your other two finishers from this race, though. So we'll wait for those guys to hopefully hit in the booth. And we will be right back after this commercial break, short commercial break, with your podium finishers.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com.
What? All right, folks, we are here with your third place finisher tonight. Man, little mistake going into pit road tonight here, but you pull yourself together here, Dakota. Hunt down the field. Came out fourth after some long, hard-fought pit road strategy from people. Find yourself into the top three. How's it feel, man?
Yeah, that was a tough race. The first half, especially in the sun, it was just, I was having such difficulties driving the car. It was just loose. Once the sun went down, though, it was a different race for us. I wish I was a little closer to the front because the second half of that race, I felt like I was the fastest car, but I was just way too far behind. I was like a half a lap behind at one point from the leader. But I'd run down Bill there at the end. I just needed about 3 more laps to catch him.
Well, man, you really don't have to worry too much about an empty points lead coming out of this. Third is still great in points. You took a bigger gap in the points for this week. How's it feel knowing coming out of this, though, not only are you the points leader, but you are closing in on that car selection for next season?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've won a few league championships. I'd like to win another one. So it's really fun. It just goes to show it takes a whole season to win one of these things, and this is a good competitive league, especially with some of these guys in here that I've raced with for a long time. I know they're super talented, so it's exciting to be ahead. Next week I'm going to be at the beach, so we're just hoping that hotel Wi-Fi holds out because we're going to be running at the beach. Hopefully we can at least get a lap in and score some points.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to win that championship.
All right, man. Well, we won't keep you too long. So the most important thing, and you're pretty relative to doing it every week over here at American Sheepdog Racing, you got to thank all the friends, family, sponsors, supporters. The floor is going to be yours, my friend.
Yeah, big shout out to the Gathering Place Church. Check us out on Sundays, 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. We love to just pop in there, tell them, hey, Cody sent me for my racing, so we'd love to talk to you. Yeah, my parents that watch every week, they're not going to get to watch me next week because I'm dedicating all my Wi-Fi to iRacing next week. And just a big shout out to you guys up there, Bill for being such a good teammate, James who was a good teammate tonight, and Jim. Josh tried to make it in, but he didn't make it. But maybe next week we'll get to race with him. And yeah, you guys run a great league and a good broadcast, and let's go pack for the beach.
There we go. We unmute the mic and we might get something to you. Well, Dakota, you have a good night. Enjoy your vacation, and hopefully that Wi-Fi is strong enough for you to just come complete one lap and continue that points lead, man.
Hopefully it's strong enough. It would be really good. I've beat Bill a few different ways. I've never beat him on a laptop, on a single monitor, on an old Logitech wheel. So if I can, I'm hoping it holds out well enough for me to beat Bill next week. That's all I care about.
I think Bill's saying challenge accepted down there in the pool room. So, all right, Dakota, you have a great night, man.
You too, man. Have a good week.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, started a little farther back in the pack tonight and ended up finding himself up to second. Ran down John Houston at the end of this race to find himself into second place. Man, Bill, what a run. Hard a little bit in the beginning of the race, but came together at the end of this thing. Didn't get the win, but second place. How's it feel, man?
We'll tell you second. It's going to be a good points night because I don't think Chris Melton was in the race. So we should move up some in points and have a shot at that second place after missing a race due to, being in the hospital there. So I'll take it. And yeah, nobody had anything for Alex. He was just really fast. I have no idea how he was still running some of the times he was running that late into the run.
A lot of it I noticed throughout the race. We went on board with Alex, you, and Dakota, and a few other folks. Alex's big difference throughout the race was lifting really early into the corners, and it seemed to help him roll off the high side pretty good. Didn't have the shifting down as near as good as Dakota, but next week we head to Texas, and Texas is a whole different ball game. You know that. I know that. Are you looking forward to it?
I love Texas in this car, so it should be fun. You have to be careful in 1 and 2 not to miss it, because if you miss it by 10 feet, you miss the corner. So you have to be consistent there and watch your right front. But yeah, I love racing this car at Texas, so it should be fun.
Well, Bill, the most important thing when you get to the podium is you get to thank all the friends, family, supporters, whoever you want, whatever you want to say. The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, first, thanks to my wife and family for letting me have the time to race early on the Thursday night. Thank you for the broadcast and all the admins and drivers over here. Thanks to Josh over there, see him in the chat, for telling us good race, and Dakota for being a good teammate. And it's always fun racing with him. We got to figure out something to do here to catch up to Alex, because he's very fast. But thanks to all the viewers and everyone who makes all this racing possible.
Well, Bill, we hope you have a great night. It's good to see you up here on this podium again, and hopefully next week we can see you in that victory lane, man.
Yep, hope so.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to bring in your winner of the Green Man Gaming 150 at Homestead. Alex, Monday and Wednesday, you find yourself almost there, and on Thursday night in the Next Gen Series, you finally find that winner circle. How's it feel, man?
Feeling great, dude. That was a great run.
You did. Man, we were on board with you, and just the difference and the stability in the car that you had, even when the sun was out. Dakota said that he was a bit loose on that sun run, but once that sun came down, he was a bit faster. But dude, all night, you just looked clean. Fast, patient was the most important thing that we saw from you. And the one thing I want to point out to all the viewers and to you, Alex, I don't know if you know this, but you were the first one each time to come down pit road for fresh tires.
First one every time?
Yes, sir. And do you think that really accumulated to these big leads? Because after the first pit stop, you were up about 4 seconds. After the second spot, you were up about 8 seconds on John Houston.
I think it definitely helped. And a lot of the time when I came out, I didn't have too many lap cars in front of me, so I was able to keep it in clean air longer, which at first doesn't, make a difference, but over time, I wasn't sliding as much because I didn't have a lot of dirty air in front of me, so I was able to just keep it, stable and clean the whole time.
Yes, sir. Well, the most important thing, especially when you're in the winner circle, is you get to thank anybody and everybody, and we already know it. Duncan's coming soon. The floor is yours, my friend. Thank them all.
All right, first off, shout out to you for doing the broadcast and working really hard on that for the last couple of weeks. Shout out to all the admins at American Sheepdog Racing for setting this up for us and putting in all that hard work all season. Shout out to Dakota and Bill for having a great run, especially Dakota. He told me about his mistake and he recovered from it really well, so shout out to him. And of course, shout out to Duncan for helping me re-energize after the gym and before the race to get my head straight.
All right, folks. Well, one last question for you, Alex. We're heading to Texas, man. You looking forward to it?
Yes, indeed, bro. Texas is awesome.
All right, folks. Well, Alex, you have a good night. You heard it here, folks. We're heading to Texas. Alex is looking forward to it. It's your first time racing there, correct?
Yep.
All right. Well, you have a good night, man, and I'm sure we'll chat with you here in just a couple minutes.
Sounds good. Have a good one, man.
You too. All right, folks. Well, I'm Kai Schappert. This is KNS Sim Productions. You did catch some great racing here tonight, if I do say so myself. Most importantly, we will be back Wednesday night with the Roughneck Truck Series Racing League. Sponsored by James Wagner Welding. And we're going racing in Texas, baby. If you couldn't tell from the music, we're hyped. We're looking forward to it. Catch us live. We're going to be live 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday night, Texas Motor Speedway. Everybody have a good night. We love you.